Hey everybody, Dr. Norrell. I'm going to talk to you today about stay fit while you sit. And anybody out there that's a chiropractor probably saw me sitting here and said, what horrible posture. And they're right. So what I want to talk to you today about is we are seeing, especially now that people are staying home more than ever, working from home, kids working from their laptops, either propped up in bed or sitting on their couch. We have people on their iPhones texting, just what we're seeing now. And in fact, there's a new diagnosis code called text neck, right? Headaches, neck pain, numbness and tingling are the symptoms. So as we have become more sedentary by sitting at home and doing my work, or everybody's binge watching Netflix and Hulu and Prime, I want to talk about poor posture when you're seated, all right? But before we do that, I want to show you what we should look like. So if we're facing this way, this is our spine, we are supposed to have in your neck a curve of your neck, your mid-back a curve, and your low back should have a curve, all right? And that's what it should look like, okay? Now, when we sit down, proper posture would be sitting like so, all right? But how many people actually sit that way, okay? We've all heard growing up, sit up straight, right? But what happens is most people tend to kind of slump in their chair, and this is the posture that they assume. So what does that look like on a spine? If they're sitting down, they're slumping in their chair, head forward posture. So when we should have an S in our spine, what ends up happening with poor posture is that S looks more like a C. When that happens, then when we take, if this was normal and relaxed, and if I had a rubber band and I lose that curve, the rubber band is going to stretch. And when you stretch a piece of tubing, like surgical tubing, it gets narrower. Well, in reality, that tubing that's getting stretched is that spinal cord inside. So when we have poor posture, and we call it the law of adaptation, where if you're going to sit this way for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year, and then you come home, that's at work, but you come home and you do the same thing, the body's just going to assume this posture. And we see it when we take x-rays in our office, because we'll have you sit on a stool in front of the x-ray unit, and I'll say, okay, I want you to sit up nice and tall, looking straight ahead. Shoot it, Dr. Norrell. Because they're stuck that way. So what happens is when you begin to stretch that spinal cord, come on over here, Susan. Then when you stretch that spinal cord and this normal S curve becomes a C, it's going to put a lot of strain right up here. It's going to be things like headaches, sinus allergy problems, mood swings, irritability, but more importantly, this vagus nerve, where does it go? Heart, lungs, all the stomach, all the organs of digestion. So yes, by putting pressure on the spinal cord, it can cause all these organ cells and tissues to malfunction, giving you the symptoms that are associated with each of those organs. So not only are you going to have pain, numbness, and tingling, but you're going to begin to see that your health begins to decline. So I'm going to show you 3 simple exercises that you can do at home to take a break as you're working from home or while you're binge watching, Real Housewives or whatever it is you're watching. What can you do to reverse? So let's talk about your neck first. How can we get that curve back? It's really pretty simple, okay? You're going to look back as far as you can, and then you're going to kind of try to push your muscle, the chin, up to the ceiling. Looks like this. Head back, and then push, stretch. Because what's happened? These muscles have gotten short. You got to stretch them, okay? You just kind of do it, and you hold it for about 8 to 10 seconds, and relax for 8 to 10 seconds, and do that 3 or 4 times. So what do we do now that we got the curve back of the neck, but how do we get our spine back in the thoracic spine? Very simple. Kind of reach back here, grab a thumb, you're going to push down to the floor, and then squeeze the shoulder blades back. So we're going to squeeze the shoulder blades back. So we're going from this slumpy posture. Because these muscles have gotten tight in the pecs, the shoulders, between the shoulders have stretched. So we're going to stretch that, okay? Bring the shoulders back, pushing down, strengthen the muscles to pull the shoulder blades back, okay? So now we got neck curve back, thoracic curve back. What do we do about this lumbar? Okay? Really simple. All I want you to do is you're just going to put your hands on your hips and just arch that spine back. Just try to get that back. I know it looks kind of silly, okay? But remember, we're trying to take this slumpy posture and bring it back. Ear over the shoulder, shoulder over the hips, hips over the knee and the ankle. All right, guys? So, take a moment, 3 or 4 or 5 times every single day. If your job is sitting down or you're watching TV or your kids are working, and if you begin to see people, and even when they stand up and you say, hey, come down for dinner, and all your kids come down, they're looking like this, 3 exercises. Chin back, push, hands back, squeeze, and then just kind of arch that back. All right, guys? Dr. Gnarl, stay fit while you sit. See you next week.